This episode of Lash Boss Radio is brought to you by Paris Lash Academy. If you guys haven't heard of PLA, they are known for their pro-made fans. Even before pre-mades, pro-mades were a thing and done well by a lot of companies, they were doing it right. They actually have their own manufacturing facility in Vietnam, and that is just next level quality control, if you ask me. I love PLA because their team is just so incredibly generous and kind and sweet. Last year, I met them at the event that I threw with Lashcast, which was the Las Vegas Lash Social, which was during IBS. We're doing it again this year, but I met them there, and they were all smiles, all hanging out, just looked so happy to be together. And I just really liked that. I love that inside of a company. So they've got great quality products, and their customer service is like unmatched. They're probably one of the most generous companies that I have come across. So thank you so much, PLA, for sponsoring today's episode. If you guys want to shop Paris Lash Academy, you can do so at parislashacademy.com and use code LashBossRadio for 15% off of your order. Thank you again, PLA, and here is today's episode. Hey everyone, welcome back to Lash Boss Radio. I'm Shelby, your host, and today I am joined once again by attorney Reonna Green of She Trademarks. We are going to talk about how to make 2024 your best year yet. Welcome back, Reonna.
Hi, I'm so excited to be back. I can't wait to get into all the stuff for 2024.
Yeah, so tell us what has changed since the last time you've been on.
I've been doing so much stuff. This year has been crazy. I'm going to count at some point, but I've been to so many events and conferences this year in 2023 that it's been nuts. Like, I know I was at Lash Boss Summit. So I was there, a virtual speaker. I saw you, I saw the summit. That was amazing. And then I've been working on some things behind the scenes, an affiliate program, a new course. So it has been a busy year.
Tell us about the affiliate program. What exactly is that?
So the affiliate program is designed for people who have used any of the She Trademarks products. So the done for you consent forms, the intake forms, contracts for like salon booth rental, training contracts, all of that stuff. I have so many people that are using them and loving them and just referring all their friends or people that they also train or mentor. And so I wanted to create a program that would give them perks, insider track to like new drops, as well as a way to reward them for promoting a product that they're already using and loving. And so I started an affiliate program. I'm really excited about it. The affiliates get some awesome perks. They get access to things before they drop. They get new products for free. They get a commission off of products sold. And so it's like my little baby that I'm really excited about.
That's cool. I love when companies reward the people that are, raving about them and are already fans and stuff and actually giving back to them. So that's awesome. Speaking of events, what are some of your favorites or highlights of this year for the ones that you went to?
So for the lash-based ones, I will say that your event, Lash Boss Summit, was really cool. I liked how intimate it was. It was like smaller than some of the other ones. And I like how everyone stayed in the same classroom, all day. Speakers were main stage. So I think it was really cool to have a smaller, more intimate setting. And everyone was so organized, and just really the program itself was designed really well. And I think that everyone got a lot of education out of it. And so Lash Boss Summit was like one of my top events this year, just for organized planning. What the speakers and what the attendees got out of it, I think is like superior than a lot of the other things that I went to this year. LashCon is also another one that I think is a great event. It's on a larger scale. So, for like huge conferences go, that would probably be my top choice as far as that goes. They're always really organized and have a lot of good social activities. So I think that's a good mix of both. But those are probably my two favorite lash events that I went to this year. And then I did some hair ones and some PMU ones that are also, really good. But The Lash, I don't want to be biased, but the Lash world, really does it a little bit differently than some of the other industries.
I love our industry. I I think we're really fun and we're a good group, you know? So I feel like people are really eager to take classes, go to conferences, go to events and stuff, but legal is kind of more of a daunting task, I feel like, to a lot of business owners. Even if they know that they need to do something, they'll just keep putting it off. And so, what would you say are still the top things that people are needing to take care of as we go into a new year?
I would say brand ownership is huge. So, what I constantly see is people creating these brands that they love and they're getting brand awareness and people are starting to really follow them and follow their brand and the business that they're building. And then they either get hit with something from another brand that actually owns that name, or they find out when they want to own the name that they can't. And all of that is done through trademarks. So one of the big things is to kind of get your trademark done early. I know that people like to put that one on the back burner because they're like, oh, I'm a small mom and pop shop, or it's just me, or whatever. But I always remind people that they need to think big and think long term. So if you're just doing lashes as a hobby and you're like, this is not really a business for me, which is really not what most people are doing, then you need to think of it as, this is a business and I need to invest in it. So even though I'm small now, I don't want to wait till I'm big and then realize, oh, I can't even own this name and I have to rebrand, because that's a lot of work, like getting the brand recognition and all of that. So that would be like my number one thing, to start that really early. And then I would say the next thing is like LLCs or some type of business entity to protect your business assets from your personal assets. That is really big, just as far as like a liability standpoint. If someone slips and falls in your salon, or if you have employees and somebody does, an employment suit or any of that stuff, you want to make sure that your business is protected and your personal assets are protected so they can't come after you for that. And that's another one that I think people will hold off on because they'll say like, oh, I don't need an LLC right now. Like, I'm just starting. Like, what's the worst that could happen? And then, of course, like business insurance. We get insurance on our car. We have insurance for our health. We have insurance for a number of things, dental insurance, because it comes in handy. And I think that people forget about that when it comes to their business. But business insurance is huge. It's going to help you, before your LLC will, before a lot of stuff will, like monetarily. So that's really good. And, some accounting things, getting a good CPA, all of that stuff is so important for your business. And it's one of the things, or a lot of the things, that we're kind of like, oh, I'll get to that later.
One thing that I heard you speak on at LashCon was that even if you are protected with an LLC, but you're commingling your funds, you briefly spoke about that. But could you just talk about what that means to commingle and what that can do?
Yeah, commingling your funds. That is a hot topic that people don't really understand. I just think it's like not that well known, right? So people will do the step of getting their LLC and they're like, got it, Rihanna. I got my LLC. I'm doing everything right. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so good. I'm so glad that you took that step. I'm like, all right, let's talk about finances then. And then we'll start getting into finance. I'm like, how are you paying yourself? How are you buying things for your business? And then they'll say, yeah, well, I have, I'm just kind of buying everything from my personal account. And so commingling funds really deals with the idea of your business money is your business money and your personal money is your personal money. And so once you start an LLC, you have to treat that money like it belongs to the LLC. So like an example of this is, let's say you are laying in bed or you're on your couch and you realize, oh, you know what? I need to go do a lash order. Like, let me go onto my favorite brand's website and put in a bulk order. And then as you're sitting there, you're like, oh, I don't want to get up and go get my business credit card or my business debit. I'll just use whatever's in my wallet. I'll Apple Pay on my personal card. Well, that right there is commingling your funds, because you're using your personal account to buy things for your business, and you're using and if you do something else, like let's say then you go to lunch with your friends and you use your business card instead of your personal card, well, now you're using all the money like it's your money. And so what the LLC does is it's designed to protect you in the event of a lawsuit or in the event of a bankruptcy or whatever, that you're keeping all your funds separate. But by using those credit cards and making purchases and things like that all willy-nilly, like it doesn't matter where it's coming from, it basically invalidates, or it can invalidate your LLC. So then if you get sued, they're going to say, oh, well, Shelby has all that money in her personal bank account, or Reonna has all that money in her personal bank account. The business is not making that much money, but who cares? Let's go after the savings for that house that she wants, or that kid's college fund, or whatever. And they can do that if you're commingling your funds.
So scary to think about. Another thing I think also is people will um, treat everything, or they'll just go into everything like, this is a write-off, this is a write-off. I'm writing off everything that I can. And then when they're trying to buy a house, they're like, what the heck? I have nothing. I'm making money, but I can't prove that I am because I'm trying to write everything off. So it's something I think that is a really good mindset to just remember as we go into the new year, just to be conscious of those small decisions that add up to a lot at the end.
For sure. I think two things you should have on your team as a business owner are a lawyer and a really good CPA. Now, those are probably the last two things people try to put on their, like team roster, because they're like, want a marketing person, need a branding person, like a videographer, whatever, all the fun things. But your CPA is going to help you save money on taxes and tell you what you really can write off and what you can't write off. Because that meme that goes around that's like, I don't know, it's a write-off. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like, we think that we can write off everything. A CPA is going to put you in check with that. And then making sure that you're protected, a lawyer is going to put you in check with that. So I think like in 2024, if you don't have those two people on your roster, or you haven't met with them, then those are definitely two people you should talk to.
Speaking of going into 2024 with the right mindset, we have something kind of intended for that person that's like wanting to start off their year with a bang and dream up some goals and stuff. So can we talk about Dream Boss Social for a second?
Ooh, Dream Boss Social. I'm so excited for Dream Boss Social. It's going to be one of those events that like really puts you in the right mindset going into 2024, in my opinion. I love New Year's. It's my favorite holiday, hands down. And everybody always is like, why do you like New Year's so much? Like some people are obsessed with Christmas. Some people love Halloween. They're like, what is it about New Year's? And I'm going to tell you, I think it's a time in the year when everybody is kind of like in high spirits. They have like really, good lofty goals for the new year. They are like ready to commit to change. They are wanting to do just really good things in the new year. It's like a fresh start, like a fresh slate. So if you were doing something in 2023 that you don't want to do in 2024, or if you didn't hit a goal in 2023, you're like, 2024 is going to be my year. So I just love that everybody is so positive. I think that Dream Boss Social is going to be the event that is really going to catapult that for everybody. That's going to bring all those new goals, all those things that you want to do maybe, but haven't sat down to write out your goals, or to figure out a way to achieve those goals, or to be amongst other people that are also in the same space as you, that also have goals of, doubling their income, or starting a salon, or going solo, or starting a lash brand, or whatever it is. And it's going to give you a space and an opportunity to sit down and make those goals and make those connections to carry you into 2024 and help you achieve all those goals.
Yeah, we have it kind of set up where it's kind of the best of both worlds, where we're going to be dreaming things up, but also planning those things out and then wrapping it up with like a nice party. I love just the schedule of the day that we have planned for everyone. And I just think us as co-hosts with Tiffany is just like the perfect group to be planning something like this, because you actually already did something earlier this year, a vision board party. Can you talk about how that went?
Oh my gosh, the vision board party was so cool. It was kind of something that happened in the middle of the night. I was like, I want to do a vision board party. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to do one. And then I was like, actually, I want to do a vision board party with all my friends on social media, right? I was like, I want to do it with all my like online friends that I talk to and, whatever. And so I kind of put it together in a really short time span, and it was amazing. We had a DJ, we had mimosas, we had, a little appetizers. We did the vision board party. We toasted to our number one accomplishment from 2022. We made these little and they were so cute. They were like little messages in a bottle. They were like about this big. And we put a message to ourselves that we would open at the end of the year. And so we just did all of these different things that were really kind of like mindset shifting, I think, and opening up your mind for new goals and new things. And of course, we had the DJ and everyone met new people. We had about 40-ish people there, and everyone had such a good time. What's really funny about this is I wanted to do a vision board and didn't even end up making a vision board at the party because I was so like busy talking to other people and like interacting that it didn't get done. But everybody else's got done or mostly done. So it was a good event.
I'm so excited because we're using a lot of like that party's kind of blueprint to do this one. Plus, we're adding like a Q&A session, which I think is really nice because kind of in between the partying and vision boarding, we'll actually say, okay, let's sit down and talk, and we'll kind of bring people up to share some of their struggles or what they're challenged with, and we're all gonna give our input, and then also they can ask us questions. Tiffany and I are salon owners. You're an attorney, so I just think it'll be a great place for people to put those dreams into an action plan, and it feel like, okay, I can really tackle this. I know exactly what I need to do when I leave here.
Right. And I think that's kind of one of the main things. And I think about it as like the beginning of the year is the time to set out your goals, and we all can set out our goals, but sometimes you don't have the support system to kind of help you achieve that goal. And so for lots of people who are just starting out in the lash industry or who are just going solo, they might not necessarily have that like support system, that community. And so by doing Dream Boss Social, you will kind of have that built in community at the very beginning of the year, because I am sure that if you come solo, you will leave with tons of friends. If you come with friends, you'll leave with more friends. And it's all going to be like-minded people who are ready to make 2024 their best year yet. So I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it'll be the kickoff party of the year because it's the first one.
Yes.
And it's in Austin. So you guys, if you even have to fly to come do it, I highly recommend. We have so much goodness planned for it.
So much stuff planned.
So speaking of goals and stuff, what are you currently working on? Is there anything new coming out?
So I am recreating a course that I've done in the past. I used to run this course live as a group, but now it's going to be done at your own pace. So what I found when I ran it live was that it was sometimes hard for people to come on at a set time because as entrepreneurs, we all have very busy lives and very busy schedules. So to meet for 6 weeks at the same time, I think was kind of hard. And I would only run it like twice a year. So I'm switching it up because people would ask me about it when doors were closed and all of that stuff. So I'm switching it up a little, and it is going to be a done at your own pace program where you can purchase it at any time. It's going to go over all of the legal basics kind of from A to Z. And it's going to cover how to set up your own LLC. It's going to give you a operating agreement that you can fill out. It will go over how to get your EIN number and set up your bank accounts. It's going to have how to do your contracts and your policies. It's going to have how to register for business insurance. It will have accounting. It's going to have everything. So basically, you can start the program and finish the program. Originally, it was a 6-week program, but it was designed to take you from Beauty Pro to CEO in 6 weeks. So now, obviously, you can do that in less time, depending on how motivated you are. But it's going to be kind of the course that you need, a starter course if you're just starting out, or kind of like a finishing course if you have been in the business for a while, but you're like, dang, now I really need to get my stuff together. So that's going to drop in February, and I'm really excited about that.
Do you have a price range for it?
I think that it's going to be around, I don't know. I don't want to say yet. I have some ideas, but it's going to be affordable because it's something that you can, do yourself. But also, I want people to get the product. I want them to get their legal in order. And so it is definitely going to be an affordable price that people are going to be like, yeah, that makes sense. It will be significantly cheaper than hiring me to do all of this for you or any other attorney. I can tell you that much.
Okay, that's cool. Because I think especially like we kind of mentioned in the beginning, when someone's first starting out on their own, they do just put it to the side as like, I'll do this later. But this is really nice to kind of start off on the right foot and just know that you're tackling everything. And for people who have been doing this a while and are like, I really need to get this stuff done, it's nice for them too, to where it's like, okay, obviously you've been considering the financial part of it. This might help with getting this stuff done without having to, bite off that much. Yeah. So,
And we will definitely have payment plans. So that will also help. So it will just be one of those ones that you're like, yeah, got to get it, need to get it done. And then the idea is when you're done, you're done. You've like progressed, Beauty Pro to CEO. You can sit back and relax and be like, yep, LLC got that. Business insurance got that,
that's awesome. What else? So you are speaking at Lash Boss Summit in 2024, which is in Austin, if you guys didn't know. This year it's on a Friday and Saturday. It got moved up one day. So April 26th and 27th. But you are speaking again on stage. Can you talk about what you will be speaking on?
Yes. So this time around, we are going to switch it up a little bit, which I'm really excited about. Shelby and I, well, we talked about like what is going to be best for kind of the audience that's going to be there and what do we think people are struggling with. And so we're going to talk a lot about social media law and kind of like what that is and how to navigate it. Because as lash bosses and just, lash artists in general, so many people are marketing their business on social media. And so we want to talk about like how to properly market your business on social media, how to not get hit with like cease and desist from other brands, how to make sure that you're not doing like copyright infringement by like, screen recording someone's stuff and reposting it, how to make sure that like if you are doing brand deals with people or you're doing endorsements or affiliate programs, that you're like properly disclosing that information. And then how to like protect yourself if somebody is ripping you off. So if somebody's taking your content and reposting it or any of that kind of stuff is going to be kind of the main topic of what we talk about for Lash Boss Summit this year.
Nice. I'm so excited. I feel like all of your talks are really, really eye-opening, and you're like, dang, I didn't realize like this could be wrong or that is illegal and stuff. It's pretty cool. So we talked a little bit about kind of going into the new year with a fresh slate. Is there anything regarding consent forms that you think that should be looked at or reassessed as we go into 2024?
Yes. So consent forms, I love to say that you don't have to have your client sign consent forms every single time they come in if they are doing the same service. So obviously, if you're doing a new service, they should sign a consent form specific to that service. But if you're just doing lashes and you have the same client every month, they don't need to refill out a consent form every month. You can have them sign a consent form and it can be valid for 1 year as long as you have the proper clauses in your consent form that say, hey, this consent is going to be valid for this appointment and every appointment hereafter for a year. So what you should really do, like as the start of the new year, is look at your consent forms. When have your clients signed them? What I like to say, a good piece of advice, like a good rule of thumb, is to make everybody re-sign them at the beginning of the year. That way that everybody who's on your current client roster, they're all up to date for all of 2024 because you had them sign in January and they're going to be good for a whole another year. But you have to have that clause in there. And that's one clause that's in every potential consent form or contract or whatever. So you want to make sure that you take a good look at your consent forms and your contracts that you're using with your clients and make sure they're valid. But the thing is like you can't always tell if they're valid because you have to know the source of where it came from. So if you're one of those people right now that is using like a consent form from Etsy, I always discourage Etsy consent forms because you don't know where they came from. Like who even wrote it? Does it even have the proper stuff in it that will even legally protect you? Otherwise, you're just kind of having them sign like a blank piece of paper, like here, sign this. I hope it stands up in court. So kind of taking a good look at that. Even some from mentors or your previous trainers, like they may be using it, but how do you know that it's legally sound? So I would just take a good look at your consent forms and then have them reviewed by an attorney or get lawyer drafted consent forms.
Is it okay for the consent forms to be digital, or do they have to be wet signatures?
No, they can be digital. And digital is good. Like we're in a day and age now where so many things are brought to the court on digital signatures. So as long as you are using a program that is going to, collect the necessary metadata that you need, then you're fine. So if you're going to have a signature, it's going to tell you like the IP address that signed it and, date and time stamped. You're pretty much good to go. You don't have to have like a paper copy that you're storing somewhere. Like we're digital these days, and courts will hold up digital signatures all the time. So
So your services include doing this for people, or you have like the templates, the contract, the consent form templates. I mean, but do you think you're also going to have the done for you templates in your new course that's launching in February?
yes, so there will be a VIP option for that course that will come with kind of my version of the top 6 contracts and consent forms that you need for your growing business. And so you'll get a COVID waiver, you will get a consent form for Lash services or whatever, business that you're in. You will get a client services agreement, which is basically your policy and written form so that you can legally enforce your no-shows, your late cancellation fees, all of those different things, help you fight against chargebacks. And then it's going to have photo release, testimonial release, because again, if you guys are using people's photos on Instagram to promote your business, you are using their photos for marketing purposes, and models get paid, right? So even though you're not thinking like, well, it's not a model set, but I'm doing a before and after photo, well, it's advertising your services. And so you need to make sure that you can use their photos for that purpose. And same thing with testimonials. So if someone slides in your DMs and says, oh my God, best wispy set ever, and you want to repost that, then you want to make sure that you've had them sign something because you are using it to market and advertise your business. So you'll get all of that in a bundle by itself. If you're just like, hey, I need what you're talking about, Reonna, those are available for purchase, but then also VIP on the Beauty Pro to CEO Beauty Boss Legal Bootcamp will also have that as well.
So do most businesses usually just need the template, or do you feel like anyone ever needs to hire you to create one from scratch? Is that really only reserved for huge product lines or something like that? Or do you think people, that are doing lashes solo or that own a salon, are they good with just doing a template?
So most people are going to be able to use the templates. Like I have designed them to be easy to use, to kind of work for different scenarios, to have options in there. So let's say you're like, I have a cancellation period or I have a deposit, but only the first time you come to me, you have to do a deposit. And then you don't have to after you've come to me once or whatever the case is, right? Some people do different things with their deposits. So there are like 4 options in there, and you can choose which option best goes for how you're running your business. And so it's not really like a one size fits all. There are options for things on how you want to do things. You can go with like option A or option B. And I tell you, like, hey, if you're doing it this way, option A is probably better for you. If you're doing it this way, option B is better for you. So the contracts and consent forms themselves have tons of highlighted areas for you to look at. And then my personal notes on the side, like describing and explaining like what part of the contract this is and how this helps you and what you need to consider. And so when you're going through it, it's almost like I'm holding your hand while we're going through it, but it's doing it virtually at your own time. So you kind of get my brain without having to have me do a custom contract for you. Now, there are some times when people are like, Rihanna, you don't have a contract for what I need. And I'm like, ooh, let's talk about it. Like, what is it that you need that, I don't have a contract for? Because the contract shop is designed to have everything that like a beauty boss needs to like successfully run their business. And so I'm always trying to add new products. And so if you are one of those ones that are like, hey, I'm doing this, but I don't see something for it. Like I had a consultation one day about they do travel training, right? And you might have like your trainers and your trainees do something on your travel training, but they were like, I am using someone else's salon space and I want to make sure that when I use their salon space, certain things are in play, like at the salon. And I also want to make sure that that salon host does certain things to promote the class that I'm coming to teach. And so like a contract between the host salon and the travel trainer which is something that I didn't have. And I'm like, that's cool. That's a contract that we should definitely do. So if there's something that you're like, hey, this is a unique scenario that I haven't seen, I'm always happy to do custom contracts with people.
Where can people reach you if they would like to work with you?
If they want to come find me, you can definitely find me on Instagram. That's probably where I hang out the most. And that's She Trademarks on Instagram. And then if you were like, ooh, definitely need what you talked about, trademarks or the contract bundle or whatever, and I need it now, then shetrademarks.com is where you can go to purchase and instantly download any of the contracts or templates that we've talked about. It's also where you can reach out and self-schedule a trademark consultation or a Beauty Boss legal consultation. If you're like, hey, some of that stuff that you talked about, I want to talk to you about. You can go online, book, self-schedule everything online. So it makes it really easy to find a time that works for me and works for you. And everything is available on the website or on Instagram.
Awesome. I will drop both of those links in the show notes, as well as a link to purchase a Dream Boss social ticket. We also have a Bring a Bestie discount. So if you're someone that has, interest in it to go with someone else, you can save if you buy 2 tickets.
Yes. Bring a bestie and save, because we are going to level up in 2024. And so why not level up with your bestie? It makes the most sense, I think.
Agreed. Well, thank you for coming back on the show. It was a pleasure having you.
Thanks so much for having me. I love coming and chatting with you. It's always a good time. And we really try to get down to the nitty gritty on what they need for legal. So it's great info.
Yes, and we will see you guys at Dream Boss Social in January. And if you can't make it, we'll see you at Lash Boss Summit in April.
Yes, can't wait to see you guys. Bye.
Bye.